Hey friends, welcome. Welcome to Exit Stage Left. And we have so many things that are going on in the world. I just want to welcome everyone. We're broadcasting live here from the food church, and it feels a little bit like the energies are so high. But look, I'm your host, Niti, and we are people at peace, and we've declared peace to all the nations around the world. This is not a marketing or a promotional channel. We're shining a light on knowledge that's being hidden from you, and we're sharing the truth about your birthright and your inheritance. If you have any questions, just put them in all caps and only enter them once per show. Hey, today I'm joined by Debra-Ann, facilitator of the Ombudsman Way, and Tammy Healy, the host of American States Assemblies podcast and the co-leader of the Outreach Think Tank. So welcome, ladies. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday.
Welcome. Nice to see you, Tammy, and Niti. Thank you for the welcome.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. As you can see, I'm in my car, so not in my usual place, but nonetheless, I'm here and glad to be here. Thank you for having me again, and it's always a pleasure to see you two ladies. I have so much fun doing these podcasts, so thank you for having me.
Hey, this is the American way, and Tammy is exemplifying that we are one for all and all for one, and we just get it done. We get the job done. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Tammy.
Yeah. And I know we were, trying to figure out there's so many topics to discuss, and we were, kind of bouncing ideas. But recently we had, Anna just put out a new article. It was later this morning on my time. So I'm guessing it was really early her time. But I thought that it would be a really great article for us to read and then to discuss. And it's just so beautiful, and it really sets the tone for this joyous holiday season, and for that energy shift that we keep talking about. And one of the things that we're going to read in that article, which I think resonated so much with me, because I know that all of us have been working so hard in our state assemblies to kind of bring this kind of mindset and energy back into our assemblies, is, I'm going to quote her, is that she said, with great, and I don't know if she used the word power, or maybe she might have said freedom. With great freedom comes great responsibility, right? And so shifting that mindset again, that we are the responsible parties and we're back in session. The American government is back in session. And what does that mean? It's the government that we learned about that was for, of, and by the people. We've been missing in action, but all of our state assemblies are up and we're fully functional. And now it's our responsibility to start reaching out to our de facto employees and instructing them on what we, the people, want. And so, I look forward to, pulling the article up and going through it and then just discussing it with you guys.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I pull it up, I just wanted to remind everybody too that I've been sharing a lot of shorts that I'm clipping from old conversations that I've had with Anna. So the very first interview that I had with her, she discussed or she defined sovereignty. And so if you are interested, then check that out when you get some time on the YouTube channel. But I just clipped that was from my very first interview with her. And she was explaining that there is, individual sovereignty, and then there's this national, international sovereignty. And with this national sovereignty, for us to be a sovereign nation, like Tammy was saying, the reason that we're sovereign is because we have to be sovereign in order to take responsibility for the, really, we've been given dominion, right? Everyone knows that we have been given dominion by our creator. And so in order for us to exercise that dominion, we have to take responsibility. And this sovereignty that we speak of is the way that there's the individual sovereignty that we all should be taking, but this national sovereignty that we do as a collective. So, Debra-Ann, I'm just going to pull this up for everyone.
Great. I'm happy to read it. And jump in if you want to. Yeah, I'll wait for the top. Jump in when you want to stop and talk about something. So here we go.
Sure.
This is not an opportunity for more special interests. The nanny state created a culture of special interests, all jostling each other to get closest to the feeding trough. Whoever tells the most pitiful story or establishes the most outrageous tale of neglect or social persecution wins by getting grants and attentions and sympathy from the news media. That's not how the American government works. The American government has a simple mission to protect the living people and their assets. We try to do that as simply and fairly as possible, period. There's no, go ahead.
The living people and their assets. So I think it bears a moment for us to just discuss what are the living people and their assets, because this is all precious life. There is a misunderstanding amongst a lot of folks on the assemblies that the people are only supposedly the Americans. This is not true. This is not true. Our government, we are protecting all precious life on our land. Is it our land? Yeah, it's American land and soil, but we're protecting all of it. And so there should be no confusion that we only are caring for Americans. That's not true.
I love that distinction, because the truth is we have to have as much compassion and caring for those people acting out the rules and regulations and stipulations of the de facto. They're living beings. And so having as much compassion for them as we do Americans who know who they are, who have changed their political status, we're the ones that are paving the road and shining the light, hopefully for those people to catch on. So we're not in an adversarial position with anyone. We're protecting.
Yeah, I love that too. And I concur. I think that it's our job. And if you want to even break it down this way, right? It's our job to protect the earth, all living things, the trees, the plants, the air, the water, the animals, and like you said, all living things, right? And it's our responsibility. That's up to us.
It's the dominion that we were given. We were given dominion over all of the precious life and all the natural resources. So that means the land and soil. That means all, and the water is alive, so we really need to focus. Just that one line is so much for us to
yeah, and for people that can't wrap their heads around the fact that water is alive, it is an asset. It is an asset. It is.
It is alive. And you know what?
Yes, it is.
If you take water out of a stream or a living stream or a living anything, and you take it and you try to bottle it, then it'll kill you because it'll die. You can't drink it. You can't just do that and carry it. You have to cook it. You have to cook it if you're going to take the air away from it, if you're going to take it out of its ecosystem where it is there with all the living creatures and with all the current that's moving, because it's alive. It's not still water. We're not talking about stagnant water. You wouldn't be drinking the stagnant water. Right.
Thank you for that, Niti. Okay. The American government has a simple mission to protect, I'm going to read it again, protect the living people and their assets. We try to do that simply and fairly as possible, period. That's our mission. There are no special grants or awards for special interest groups. So everyone concerned can pick up their pity pot and go home. I have to stop
right
there
now.
for just a second because
Oh yeah, we all need to stop there, please.
Yep.
Because I see the pity pot as victimhood. You
Yes.
know what?
Yes.
We are not victims.
That's
We're
right.
not victims of our situation. We're not victims of other people. This pity pot business is, get over it. I'm sorry, I'm not being harsh, but the truth is we have a mission, and what's our way forward, and let's look at what we need to do to move forward. So, sitting on the pity pot is just taking time and energy away from what we're supposed to be doing. And
right. And we're
so
going to have special interest, you guys. We are. But look, we're also owed an inheritance. So any of you who don't know, and you think you're an American, you might want to come learn what it means to be American, actually, and come and claim your inheritance, because you have an inheritance as well. And we don't need anyone to grant us a wish. We have the ability to grant our own wishes. And we can do that with our inheritance. So if you don't know what we're talking about, then we are excited to share the information with you, because we want everyone to claim their inheritance that they're owed.
And so we protect everyone,
yes.
But you can't get your inheritance unless you make your claim as an American, and the inheritance is there.
Declare. You must declare. And why must we declare? Because
you have free will to choose.
But also because you were tricked. You were duped. We were all tricked and duped. What they did was they usurped us, and they used spells and incantations to trick us. This sounds real woo-woo.
Hoity-toity, yeah, very woo-woo, but
it's very woo-woo, but it's not. What are the spells and the incantations? Well, what they did was they used the United States of America Incorporated. They just didn't say the incorporated part. They incorporated. It was like, oops, incorporated. They just said incorporated, and real quick, like, and you didn't even hear it. You didn't even know it. And then they constantly say USA, USA. They don't teach you to say America.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of words that they use, and Americans think that they mean the same thing, like the United States of America, USA, and Americans, right? When we were out of the country recently, somebody made a reference to America and Americans and this and that, and I had to correct them. And I said, nope. I said, that is the United States military that you're speaking of. And it's not Americans. And there's a difference. And they kind of looked at me. I didn't really get into it with them. But, when given those little opportunities, I always like to drop the breadcrumb. But yeah, they've usurped us and tricked us. And I like to use two different analogies when trying to talk to people about this, and depending on who I'm talking to. If it's a young family that has, little kids, I ask them if they're familiar with the movie, Wreck-It Ralph. Have you ladies seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay. So you know what I'm talking about, Niti, right?
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, you have a character in a game that wasn't supposed to cross over into another game, right? Because that was a law that it prohibited them from doing that, because apparently in the chords and everything, they can, transport into, going into different gamings and stuff. And so that was against their, rules in the gaming world, right? And this Wreck-It Ralph ended up going into another game. He broke the rules because he was so unhappy, and he was tired of being the villain in his game. And so he decided to go, and he wanted to win an award. And so anyway, he
Be the good guy.
Yeah, he wanted to be the good guy. So he forced himself into another game and thought he could win an award in that game and then bring it back and he'd be the hero and everybody would like him in his game, right? And along the lines, in this new game that he injected himself into, he finds out that, at the end, that there was the main character who was supposed to win the game, and she was Princess Penelope or something. But she was actually currently a glitch in the game. And every character in that game hated her and despised her and rolled their eyes at her. Well, lo and behold, Wreck-It Ralph and her finally figured out that it was the speed guy that actually uh, inserted himself into this game, changed the coding of the game so that none of the characters knew that he was not supposed to be there. And they changed the coding back, Wreck-It Ralph and Penelope. And at the end of the game, they realized that this usurper that usurped on the game and, recoded everything, he was the trickster, right? He was the con artist, and they caught him and kind of booted him out. And she ended up reclaiming her spot in the game as the rightful princess of the game, right? So I think of that game because, as we're told, they tell us what they're doing to us in these movies, right? And Disney, out of all movies, because we know it's all run by the CIA, is especially great at giving us those messages and telling us about reality in those fictitious movies. And I've made it a point to explain to people like just what happened to Penelope in the Wreck-It Ralph movie. That's what's done to us.
Yeah. They notice us on every one of the shows, every of the cartoons, and I love it. Actually, that's a great one. And the other one that I really like is the one where the earth, they want everybody to believe the earth is dying.
Oh, and you're talking about Wall-E.
Yeah, Wall-E. And so Wall-E is another great one, which really, because it's exactly what you see going on. You have all the living people are on these ships and they're floating around in space and they have these,
screens in front of their face.
They have these goggles on that they're the virtual reality goggles, the ones that they want you to buy your kids for Christmas this year, that we refuse to allow our kids to wear, but they want you to wear these goggles, okay? And you sit in a ship, and then on every once in a while across the screen, it'll say something like, turn blue, turn green, or whatever. And they literally, everyone changes their shirt to blue or changes their shirt to green. And now they're drinking green things and eating blue things or whatever. And I mean, this is exactly,
it's the brainwashing.
It's the branding and the brainwashing. So the branding is what you see. We're observing our babies who are like, oh, I need to have the blue Gatorade or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know, because you do any of that, but they say this, right? They want I didn't know that they took like our childhood cereals and now they're like on like 12th degree levels from whatever it was before. Like whatever used to be Captain Crunch or something like that. I mean, I don't eat cereal, so I don't really know, but like they've leveled it up and they've turned it into whatever. And they have all kinds of new and more ways to use petrochemical food coloring to poison all the babies, like 50,000 different ways. And so, they have all these, I mean, we're all eating the dog food, guys. That's what it is. Okay. What is cereal? Cereal is just dog food. And why is your dog even eating that crap? Like, we should all ask ourselves this question, because especially in this day and age when everybody thinks that their dogs are their family because they've sterilized so many people. And this is actually tragedy. Okay. This is tragic. I do not say this lightly. I say it with my heart broken, shattered, that there are people who feel that, this is the best that they can do because they've literally been violated so badly. Sorry, I'm not trying to go off on this negative,
Well,
path, but
I had to make a note so that I watch Wreck-It Ralph. I haven't seen it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know the other one, Wally. Very
yeah.
good.
So
Yeah, there
yeah,
are two great Disney movies that really depict what they've done
yes,
and what they're trying to pull off here. So yeah.
Very good.
the harm is great. The harm that they've pulled off is great. I don't know how I lost the.
It flashed up and then it went away.
Yeah, you had it up there for a second.
I don't know why.
There you are.
Go.
Oh, there. But I'm trying to make it so that. Oh,
There we go.
Sorry.
All right. So no special interests, grants, or awards. So everyone concerned can pick up their pity pot and go home. The public trough is permanently closed so far as the federal government grants and taxes are concerned. You will no longer suffer taxation. Whoa! Woo! Mortgages. Yay!
Yay!
Or organized criminal harassment of any kind.
And that goes for everybody.
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 Woo! No more foreclosures, evictions, forced migrations, or government-sponsored harassment of any kind. Are you guys celebrating yet? Oh my gosh.
This is for everyone. We need you to know, declared or not, whether you're a declared American or not, nobody is going to suffer with these things anymore. Because if we allow one man to be taxed, if we allow one man to be mortgaged or harassed criminally, hello, we open ourselves up for that. So we are rebuking all evil. We say no. And that's the real Americans, guys. That's the real Americans.
Amen. Oh,
yep.
Let it be. Oh, so it is.
So be it.
So be it.
Yep. And it is.
And it is. Yes.
As long as you live peaceably, and don't injure other people or their property, assets, the local, state, and federal government will not come to your door.
You hear that,
no
guys?
Injuries.
No one. So do no harm. These are the new rules. New rules. Do no harm.
Yeah.
And love your brother like yourself. But you got to love yourself before you can do all of those things, right?
Absolutely. Because if you love yourself, you won't interpret things as harm that aren't harm.
That's right.
You get your feelings hurt, that's not harm.
Right.
Yeah. Self-governing. Anyway, here we go. Unless you get into a wreck or suffer a breakdown on the road or grossly endanger other travelers with erratic driving, you will never get pulled over by the highway patrol. We should have horns, we should have fireworks or something. Our American government is not into racketeering or micromanagement of any kind. We do not do federal block grants because you will be keeping your own money and making use of it locally.
That's actually going to be your real own money. So this is what we mean. You have an inheritance. It is such it's such a large amount of money. You will not be able to spend it in your lifetime, even if you are also funding your state with your own money.
Correct. And I think that that's the point that we need to drive home for people, because this is nothing. This is the concept that people, it's kind of like bizarre for them to think in these terms, right? It's like your assets are going to be returned to you, and then you get to choose where you want to spend your money. Because right now, the current situation is that they've taken your assets, they've been managing it for you, and they've been shoving their services down your throat for things that you never agreed to pay for or services you don't even want. So with this kind of a setup, it's putting the power back into your hands. And if you continue reading down the article, because I think all of this will kind of tie together.
Yeah. Well, I just want to also say, I mean, I know we're kind of doing this little elementary school thing where we're reading it together, but it's important because we said what we said, and we still got Ricardo wondering about auto loans. Hey, Ricardo, there's no dig on you, brother. All I'm saying is, no, we don't do loans. All of the loans, all these contracts, all of this corporatocracy, the entire corporatocracy is going away. I have been saying for over 20 years that the corporatocracy is collapsing. And we mean it, brother. We mean
you won't need to loan anything because you'll have more than enough to pay for it on your own.
I know this is really difficult for everyone to believe, which is the reason we're going to do the slow-mo reading of this article, because Anna has said it so many times already and people don't know it. And so there's no reason to keep questioning this. Okay?
So
you're going to get relief, brother. Some
people, when they get to this part about no taxes, who's going to take care of the roads and the bridges, and how is all that going to get done? Tell us.
You are. We are. All of us are. And look at this one. We're not millionaires, baby cakes. We're bagazillionaires. Like, I don't even know what you call the number. What is it called when it's infinite? The infinite wealth. You are the intrinsic value, darling.
Right.
You are the intrinsic value. You're not a millionaire. We don't even know how to say the number of how many zeros. I don't even know what you call it. Like, somebody can enlighten me on infinity zeros.
Right.
There we go. Everyone will have plenty of money to take care of all personal and community needs without sending it anywhere or having anyone else oversee redistributing it. You will be self-responsible and self-governing.
Please, can we stop right there?
Yes.
We already want y'all to know that there are people who are on our assemblies who are stuck right on this. They're stuck right here. There's anybody who's fighting against us within our assemblies, the only thing they want is money or power. And what is the Federation doing? You can't have any. You won't be able to. You know why? Because we're not providing you with services. We're not making decisions on any of those services. You are. And if you don't pay for it and you don't get what you want, just look at yourself in the mirror and go complain. And then go fix it. Because nobody else is going to do it. The government is not going to do it. Why are the people getting their funding before the state, before the Federation? Tell me why.
Because we're the ones that make the decisions, and we're the ones that make things happen in our community.
Anna spoke the other day about the enormity of the CAFR accounts. And all these things that there are paid opposition and criminal people, who are on our assemblies right now. We call them the deranged people. I know you don't like that, Deborah. What do you call it? Something else.
I forgot the other word that I
used. The other word that means deranged. Okay. So the nicer version of it, whatever you want to call it. The people that are out there who are haters, who just want to control something. Guess what? You have control. You have control. Surprise. But not only do you have control, so does everybody. And we are going to make sure that we put it in the hands of everybody, because unless we put it in the hands of everybody, if we don't rescue everyone and bring them all home and get them their accounts open as Americans or as living men, it's not even just as Americans. I'm not leaving y'all out, Africa and everybody who's on the call, because we got people from the whole earth, all the living people on this earth. All of you are going to have it if you're deranged sons and daughters who don't get with the program, or you're deranged moms and dads, because we all have these family members or the cousins or the whomevers who just can't get with the program, guess what? They're going to get with the program real quick when you are out there and you are taking care of your entire community. And if you're not doing it, guess what? That's a problem. That's a problem. But what we know is that we're going to have to do it because we're going to get the money first. When our states do eventually get that, which I am pretty sure we're not going to have control of those accounts until we comprehend fully and we bring home as many people as we can and it's safe enough and, all of that. When that happens, everybody could get reimbursed if you feel like you want to from those accounts, and it doesn't need to be this big deal. So anyway, I yield back to you, Debra-Ann.
Okay. With great freedom comes great responsibility. I have to read that again because we got to get that one deep in our hearts and minds. With great freedom comes great responsibility. You won't be able to come to us and complain about conditions in your town, country, or state because you will be accountable for the life you build for yourselves. So get ready to participate in all levels of governance to the greater extent than you ever have before. Stop expecting someone to come save you from yourselves.
Can you pause there? Can you pause there for a second? Because that is so powerful. Like, this article really spoke to me and like to the core, because these are concepts that I've been trying to really drill in every chance I get with whatever meetings that we're on. And it's like, we have been trained to sit down, shut up, and do what we're told. And then people are complaining about life. Oh, my job sucks. Oh, look at the potholes in the road. Oh, whatever it may be, right? There's always complainers. We have to shift our mindset and become the problem solvers and the creators to the solutions, right? We have to start using our creative minds and stop the bitching and complaining and start doing. Start thinking. You have brilliant minds. We were all gifted with brilliant and capable minds. So start using them. Start exercising that muscle. Maybe it's been dormant for a while because you haven't been given the opportunity to kind of think beyond your wildest dreams. But now you're going to get to create the life that you want. And if you don't like the potholes, you get to fix them. You get to be the responsible party that goes out and finds the capable men and women with the equipment and the know-how and the materials to fix it. And so, start shifting your mindset and come up with solutions. Even something as simple, start exercising it with something as simple as, we have a conflict with a meeting that we were supposed to have. Okay, what are our options? A, do we want to push the meeting to another time during the day? B, do we want to change it to another day altogether? Or C, can some of us it's conflicting, can we miss the meeting and somebody else can run the meeting? Like, you have to start thinking of the solutions to these problems and start with something as small as that. And then work your way. I mean, we're going to have much bigger issues to deal with on our states than just something as simple as showing up to a meeting and who's going to moderate it or who's putting the agenda out or whatever the case is. We have to start practicing our solutions, creating these solutions for our problems.
100%. And also, you know what? We can, they're atrophied. That's what's going on, Tammy. Their muscles are atrophied because when you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah. And it's so funny, Niti, that you say that. I love that analogy because coming from my background as a personal trainer, I always proud myself, I never had to do any marketing for my business because people would see my clients in the gym with me and they'd see the results that they'd get. But I can remember working with people. And when you're working with people, you know their strengths and their weaknesses, what you know you can push them to do. And I could work with clients and I'd be like, we're going to shoot for 20 push-ups today, right? And they'd stop at 12 or 13. And it was like, all right, just one more. They'd do one more. I'd be like, all right, come on, you can do just one more. I know you can. They'd do another one. And I'm like, hey, you're like almost there now. 2 more and you're at 20, right? It's just a matter of trying to stretch people to the point where they never thought that they could go. And you're putting your confidence in them that, hey, you can do this. It's uncomfortable right now and you don't like it. It doesn't feel good. But when you can do them and do them effortlessly and you're stronger and you feel good, uh, you're exercising that muscle. And that's all it is. It's just pushing us past our comfort zone and doing things that maybe we've never done before.
I also have to say about the people that are complaining, the truth is you're seeing something that other people may not be seeing, but you do need to exercise some muscle, as the both of you have talked about. So perhaps you carry a notebook with you, and rather than voice the complaint, write it down. And then expect your divine nature to provide solutions, and then write those solutions down, bring them forward. All of us have value to offer to one another.
Absolutely.
And that value just happens to be stimulated by the fact that you can see something that's not working right. So be creative with it. Rather than becoming a complainer, write it down and then trust that the divine working through you, because the divine in you saw the problem, the divine in you will give you some suggestions that can come forward in your assemblies.
And timing is good. When the kids were small and we had to, we were trying to go through these things and they would have things that they would want to do. And sometimes I was working and they were here with me while I'm working, right? And they want to do something, but I can't do it right away. So I used to give these little books out to them. And I used to say, can you make a ticket? And so we would create a ticket and we would park it. We would park the ticket. And then we would go back. I'd be like, okay, it's time for parking tickets. And then we'd sit down and we'd go over the parking tickets and be like, okay, what are the tickets? We get through as many of the tickets as we can get through. But I think that this is something that, and I use this in my day-to-day life all the time because I listen to you guys speaking. I hear something wonderful that you say. I'm like, ooh, that was a good one. And I park it in my ticket book. And then, and then I park it and now I have it. And so,
that's beautiful. I love that. That's great.
So then you just go back to that. But, I don't know if you guys have been watching me for the last couple of years while I'm doing the podcast, even with Anna, I always am this is what I'm doing. I'm parking a bunch of tickets and then I go back and I try to get to the tickets sometime, and there's always, I have like a whole stack of papers here in front of me all the time. And all it is all the tickets. And as the conversation allows, I get to bring out my tickets and be like, ooh, well, you said, so.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I need a smaller ticket book.
We have different sizes. and you got to have different sizes for, all the different, I have them all over the place. It's kind of crazy. But the universe is so great. The universal law that is hermetically sealed. Once you write your ticket, I guarantee you'll know it. It'll come up. You'll get the answer. And it's fascinating when you go back in there, how many you can answer yourself before you even bring it back up again. And my son pointed that out to me one time. Mom, well, I had these tickets, but you already told me something, or we already know. But can we change that or this? You know what I mean? And it turned into a new conversation. But park the ticket.
Love it.
Awesome. That's cute. That's adorable.
All right. Here we go. Some more. You have lived your lives under the onus of a phony military occupation. Everything is regimented. You were told how to do everything but floss your teeth. Oh, I think I was told how to floss my teeth. 8 million codes, regulations, and statutes, all draining your pocketbooks for enforcement. Make sure that every aspect of life is predetermined. That's what we've lived under. All that is going out the window. All of it.
Woo-hoo!
Woo! Yay. There are only 2 laws that combined into one law. The law of gratitude. You know that little notebook you have? Writing gratitudes every day. Whoo! Tickets and gratitudes. The law of gratitude and the law of love, which adds up to do no harm. Yay. As long as you do no harm, you don't owe anything to anybody, and nobody else owes you anything either. Wow. So do no harm. So you know what we're talking, I mentioned earlier, we have all lived in a system where we have been victims, and it's hard to get over that victimhood mentality. So, if somebody hurts your feeling, but they really haven't harmed you, that's something you need to write in your ticket book, and think about, right? Because it's about you. It's not about the other person.
Right.
All
The
right.
man in the mirror. I just want to say this is about the man in the mirror. Like
Yes.
when you have that feeling or that issue, and how many people are looking in the mirror? There's a lot of negativity out there, you guys. Like there's even still right now all this negativity about where is the money? Where is the money? Where is the money?
Yeah, well, I think people are getting frustrated because it hasn't come, and I keep telling them this. This is kind of how I feel is that we have been living in a world where criminals have been in charge of our money and they've stolen our assets. Do you think they're going to give it up and let it go so willingly? Do you think that they're going to say, "Oh, they caught us. All right, we got to just hand it all on over." That would be great if they did that. But at the end of the day, they're not going to do that, people. This has been
Well,
a
they did,
battle.
but they did. They
Well,
didn't
they
just
had
do it.
to. I
Yeah,
think
they
because
had
there's
to.
way too many people now that know. And what we had, the world court
Yes.
issued. We won in the world court. So it was going to take time. And that's what people have to understand. And when people are like, well, I've been a part of this assembly for 3-4 years now, and we've been told this for how long? And it's like, Anna and her family have been going at this. James Clinton Belshare's family have been on the run for how many years?
All
And
of his
all of
life.
his
All of
life.
his life.
Okay,
And
I do want to stop right there. I want to focus on this for just a moment, because what no one seems to comprehend is, hello, there is a due diligence period when you put people on notice. That's number one. But
right.
the things that our federation had to sacrifice, these living men and women who they have sacrificed, and many of them died never seeing the end of this. Okay. So we frankly can't care about your 3 or 4 years or 5 or 10. We don't care. We
Yeah.
don't care. And they definitely don't care.
Yeah.
They have
And
sacrificed everything. And even today, Anna is not in her home with her pets, with her family. And she did that for the benefit of everyone else. Everyone else, because she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do that. She could have paid a lot of things. She could have done a lot of things, but she didn't do that. She stood up for truth and law. And she did it.
And she could have done it even just for herself.
Right.
I think the reason why it's taken so long is because she didn't just try to get a remedy for herself. She's getting a remedy for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that kind of selfless act, that's something that we'll never be able to repay.
No,
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
no repaying them. Them or, any of these folks that have already lost their lives. They're already gone.
right?
How many of these people paved the way for us? And look at this story right here. You want to know why this should matter to you, baby purple, whoever you are? Listen, your baby is kidnapped, okay, by CPS. And let me just tell you something. if we don't do things in the way that we are, in the time that it's taking, and we're not unbounding things the way that we should, that poor baby, if we just go and, like, a lot of people are just like, why aren't we just doing firing squads and hanging them? Where are you going to find the baby at? Where are we going to find this baby to connect it back to the family? Do you want to know how much stuff needs to be untangled? This is not a small piece of work. Also, on top of all of that, it's not just about releasing the money. We have to do it.
And Niti, just for a second, I just want to try to put this in perspective for some people, right? Is that the reason why these things aren't as simple as, like for this mother maybe that has her babies taken from her, right? Like the CPS took them, is because how many years did it take for us to slowly have our freedoms removed, slowly move into this police state, slowly move into a military? And even though the military had been occupying us since 1863, I believe, they had to do it gradually. Otherwise, it would have been obvious, right? And so because it took all this time to get to where we are today, it's going to take, hopefully not that long, but it is going to take some time to undo it and to get us, because I believe when we finally get ourselves back on track, that there is going to be a day where when somebody commits a crime like that, whether, if it's somebody trying to steal your babies, that crime is going to be punishable almost immediately. And you're going to see an immediate response. But right now, because what we're dealing with is a bunch of criminals that have been able to run things, and they think that they're in the right. They think that they're right.
Well,
they think that they're doing something lawfully, and that they're protecting somebody.
Who is empowering them? These people. You're saying you've been in this for 11 years. No, you haven't. This has been going on since before you were born. Okay. Not only that, it was happening before you were born. And in your 11 years that you've been watching the movie, what have you done? What have you said? When have you opened your mouth? When have you stopped them? Do you know how much courage it takes to do that? And have you actually stood up to the de facto? No, you have not. How do we know you haven't? Because you're making these comments. Because guess what? I have. Anyone who has stood up to them will not make such comments. And we're not doing this like a dig on you. We're not. If you want to take it like a dig, that's between you and the mirror, okay? What this is a truth bomb. This is us being authentic and honest with you when no one else has been. No one has. And we're not going to lie to you. And we're not going to do some little foo-foo, whatever, mamsy-pamsy, whatever nonsense, and just speak lies over you, because that is immoral. Okay? So what we're doing is giving you the hard, cold truth, the one that they don't want you to be able to handle. But I believe that you can handle it. And I believe you will do something good in with this information once you actually know the whole truth. You haven't been in a movie for 11 years. You have been possessed by this whole thing since before you were a thought in someone's mind. Okay. And so we are doing this for freeing all living men. This isn't about one or two of you, or even the few thousand, 1% of the 1% of the 1% who even know what we're talking about right now. We're about to be inundated with people who are going to learn the truth. And you think that that's going to be easier for them with the money? Because I can guarantee you it won't be.
Part of what you just said is the standing up and actually confronting the evil as it comes your way. We may have a world court that has made a decision, but unless we enforce it on the ground level,
right,
it's not enforceable.
And not Anna on the ground. Listen to what Debra-Ann is saying.
Yep. So I just was listening to Mr. Arndt about exposing the criminality at the highest level. I won't go into those details, but once they make their decision in the common law court or in the world court, and it's put out there like Anna puts out those notices, Those notices are out there for all of us to enforce. We have to do the enforcement. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what
Law
we
of
have to get ready
gratitude.
to do. Yeah, hang on.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You're faster than
So
me.
I'm just going to read the lines before, and then we'll go down. As
Okay.
long as you do no harm, you don't owe anything to anybody, and nobody else owes you anything either. There are no awards for victimhood anymore. There are no victimless crimes. You can rest assured that your government won't be busting down your doors, accusing you of tax evasion, determining your local school curriculum, or micromanaging your lives. That is your job from now on. Your American government is much smaller and much more focused on the big crimes: murder, mayhem, money laundering, identity theft, credit fraud, bank and securities frauds, enslavement rackets, drug smuggling, etc., and won't have time to wipe any noses, hold any hands, or pat you on the back and say, there. We're supposed to do that ourselves and for each other. It's a different philosophy of life coming on stage now. We are not here to fleece you out of everything and then dole out little bits and pieces of your money back to you in the name of homogeneous results. We aren't going to give your money to somebody else because they are disadvantaged. Nobody is going to be disadvantaged. You will have to, 1, guard and make use of your own public purse, and 2, make decisions about how to deploy and dispense your public investments. We got a big job ahead of us. When we can't be sitting on our couches watching all those movies that the people produce for us to watch in front of the television. Yeah.
The tell-lie vision.
Tell
I mean,
vision.
our movies are going to have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our movies are going to have to change a great deal. And, sorry, I'm
You're having technical difficulties today, Niti.
well, what I wanted to show everybody is this. I don't know how many people have seen something like this. If I can get it on the stage. FBI and ICE raids of Savannah. FBI and ICE raids, the Black Ocean. FBI and ICE arrests in Chicago. FBI and DEA raid Secretary of the Navy's office. FBI, ICE, and DEA bust Somalia run. FBI, like this is what is going on that you don't see in the news that you're supposed to be looking at, okay? You're not watching all this. The Chinese drug lords, the China-backed cartel in Port Houston, in LA, the raids, America's second largest rail company, okay? There is a lot going on that you have absolutely no idea is happening, all right?
Right.
So when we're saying that, when we say we have receipts, there's receipts for all of this. And so we're not blowing hot air up your skirt. Okay,
Right.
we're not. We know all about the hot air.
Okay. We are throwing you in the deep end of the pool and giving you your stuff, including the responsibility for managing your stuff. Back to you.
And if you just pause there for a minute, Debra-Ann, what happens when you are an inexperienced swimmer and you get thrown in the deep end? You're either going to sink or swim, right?
That's right.
All for one and one for all, sinking or swimming. Yeah. You're going to make friends with the other ones sinking too. You're going to need to calm down because it won't matter. It's all one for all and all for one.
How long has it been since you visited the local schools and evaluated them as facilities for learning? Ooh. How long has it been since you went down to the fire station and talked to the firemen? How long has it been since you went to your local police and discussed their needs and operations?
Yeah, and these are all things that we have to be thinking of, right? That these are now our responsibilities. We have to care about these things and then do something.
Well, if we want to, if we want to, like, don't complain when it's not working. All we're saying is, if you want first responders, then you're going to have to care. And if you don't, then, that means that you are on your own with that. And hey, you are self-governing. You can just take care of yourself.
So here's the change of mindset, which is you don't have to work 3 jobs anymore, because you'll have you'll have your needs met. So you'll have time to go and care and attend and make sure that the people that we give the contracts to do the jobs are doing the jobs that we want them to do. Never, you say? Well, that's about to change. Remember that fine sounding line about government: of the people, for the people, by the people? That's literal, and it's about to become very, very real. So don't gang up and try to beat the rush from what you may be thinking is one public trough to another. The American government is not a public trough. The big trough in Washington, D.C. is going away, and all the oppressive, inefficient, and glutted bureaucracy is going with it. You will wake up one morning and realize, hey, it's up to us, me and you. It's not about special interests anymore. It's about public interests, what you want being a vital part of the solutions and the public. It's not magic money anymore, floating down from Washington, D.C., and nameless, faceless donors. That's your money in the government coffers, and it's going to be up to you how it's spent to meet your needs. So buckle up. We are back in Kansas, and there's no place like home.
This is really powerful also,
Debra-Ann.
friends, because look at, for those of you who think this is taking too long, no, it's not. No, it's not. The universe does everything in divine time. It's on time, because you have to be able, we've talked about the fact that there is no such thing as a quantum leap, except for a mental quantum leap. So you have to decide, you have to change your mind. And if you're one of those people, which most of you are, because we're being honest with you, we're not sugarcoating this. Okay. Most of you are looking for this victimhood award. And we aren't doing that. Nobody owes you anything. Anna definitely does not owe anybody anything, just by the way. She doesn't owe anyone anything. The fact that anyone believes the Federation owes them something, because there are people out there right now in our assemblies and everywhere else that say, well, they took the job, so they owe it. No. There is a difference between us Americans volunteering and our employees who took a job that they signed a contract for. That has nothing to do with us. Do not be confused. The other thing you need to know is that our law, the way our living law works, once we have established a judgment, there is no going back. There
No
are
appeals.
no appeals. So don't be trying to bring your appeals up, because there's people on every assembly trying to appeal or object to something that has been decided.
Just moving forward, no appeals.
Yeah, and I would love to, just getting back to the article, the last part that she was saying, visiting your like, I know when she talks about federal grants and stuff, this was a trigger thing for me, because back during COVID, when I felt like I had no power, a lot of us didn't have any power, right? Or knew that we had power anyway. And I was going to meetings to meet with my local elected towns people, right? And we were told that the reason why the schools had to abide by the COVID mandates, because if they didn't, then their federal funding they wouldn't get.
Right. That's right.
So this is a huge thing for people who have their kids in these public schools, to basically let them know, look, as an American, you're now in the position to go in there, review what's going on with the schools, and create the kind of schools that you want your kids to go to. You're going to have the power to discuss with the administration what kind of curriculum you want your school to have. You know, all sorts of things. The power is now coming back to the people, and you have been missing in action for a very long time. And you will no longer be begging your slave masters for freedom or for anything. You will be peacefully instructing them and directing them on what you want. Otherwise, you will not be spending your money there.
Well, let's just be really honest. The education system isn't going to be funded by us.
No.
We're not funding it. And let me say it again. That's not how the American government works. She wrote it right here.
Right.
We aren't funding it. If you want a school, you're funding it.
That's my point. That's my point, right? Is that because
there's going to be kind of a break. Listen, there's going to be a big break, you guys. This is what I would like to point out. Anyone who wants to have a school system, you're going to have to catch that before it completely dissolves, because they're front loaded. That's how they do things. Okay. They front loaded it, but they're not getting another load of money unless you use your inheritance to fund it yourself. If you don't, it's not going to be there, because nobody's going to be doing that.
I just want to be clear. I mean, I don't care for the public schools. I don't think that I see some value in some of the things that they do there. However, there's so much reconstruction, if you would, that needs to happen, that right now I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, is that most people have their kids in schools because most parents have to work, number one.
Right.
And so they're using the schools as a means of a babysitter. And two, they are intimidated and misinformed about what education really is or could be.
100%.
And we've been in this system for so long that a lot of people believe that this is how it ought to be and how it works. But there's so much evidence to prove that we're in a broken system. But my point in saying that the people will now be in a power position, right, to be able to instruct their employees on what to do, is if people so choose to keep their kids in those institutions, they will be in a position to fund it, right?
I just say this, because this is to your point, Tammy. So Richard here is saying we have to go after. Okay, let me just start right there. We have to go after. No, we don't. Listen, Richard. All the corporatocracy, which includes all of these things that you keep listing in the chat, okay, every single one of these things are going to be no more. Okay, they're not going to exist. We don't need insurance because we have money. We don't need insurance because we have money. Hello, we don't need insurance because we have money. So if something breaks, if something gets harmed, you're going to make it right with your actual money. You're not going to go file a report. You're not going to go to the insurance company. If I accidentally run into Deborah's car, the first thing I'm going to do is be like, oh my gosh, are you alive? Are you okay? Are you harmed? Are you hurt? I'm so sorry. That was an accident. I didn't mean it. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I did. I messed up, man. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And then we're just going to hug each other and be like, oh, thank God we're both alive and we didn't get hurt or anything. And then how much does it cost to pay this? Just tell me, I got you. Don't even worry about it. I know I rolled into you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And that's it. That is it.
Yeah.
The medical mafia, gone.
Yeah.
They're not being Yeah, they're not
I
going to
just,
be.
I want to just, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to let you guys go on. I just wanted to say I have to go. And that, thank you so much. This was a fabulous conversation. I loved Anna's article. Thank you for reviewing it with me. But you ladies carry on, and I'll catch you next week.
Oh,
Thank
bye,
you, Tammy, for
Thanks
giving
for
us
being
the
here.
idea and for being here. And she's right, y'all. If you love your school, whatever school it is, if you have a school that you love, fund it, because they're not going to otherwise get funded. Okay.
The beauty of the schools is the teachers are going to have freedom. I think the teachers have been put under mandates that they don't agree with. And if the teachers become Americans and they learn the truth, they are there for your kids. Teachers love their job and they love the kids. They hate the administrators and they hate the mandates that come down. So you have a group of people that will work with you, and to have that freedom.
But we could take this conversation another left turn real quick, if you're okay with it, Deborah, real quick. Okay, so how about this, friends? Everybody's funded. No one needs to raise their kids to go get a job. Now, me and you know this, Debra-Ann, because we homeschooled our babies and we didn't raise them to go get a job.
Right.
We raised them to be radically self-reliant.
Right.
If your babies have no reason to go to get a job, to supposedly be successful in society, because now society isn't doing all that, okay? And this is a big twist. Here's a big twist to the movie. Now, society isn't measuring you, because they can't measure you based on
this degree, that degree.
Well, the box is that the corporatocracy put you in a box and said, ooh, this makes you great. Guess what? You were born worthy beyond belief. You matter. You are so important. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And there are people that care right now because they're programmed. But in 5 seconds, nobody's going to care, because all the corporations will be gone. All the corporations. Okay, they're not all going to be gone. You might want to keep some of them. And if we want to have trade amongst the nations, because you want to get something from China, okay? I don't know that I need anything from China, but I'm just saying, if you do, then you're going to want to have to make an arrangement with somebody. And that is all going to be done in a contract, in an agreement between you and somebody.
I think the beauty of what we're coming into is learning our value and the value we bring to society. And that's what we're going to be able to instill in our children. Their deepest desires and the things that they love to do. Like, for example, my daughter loves to pack things because she can put things in small places. She has a spatial awareness that's just a gift that she has. And she loves to do that. It makes her feel good. So she, so she doesn't get some highfalutin job that people think is important. She's doing what she loves. She's adding value to society. And, when every person realizes the value that they are and the value they contribute to our communities, what's going to blossom is a bunch of happy people living together in peace. Yep.
That is 100% correct. We've lived long enough to witness the new earth rising. All we have to do anymore is whatever we want. What do you want?
Yeah. Let's make it beautiful.
I can't wait to see what you do. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. This Richard and, all these folks in the chat, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. We have to have these conversations. We have to get everybody's mind right. And when all the minds are aligned, that's when you're going to feel the wealth pour in. But they're already working on releasing it. But you guys actually are aware of it. Can you imagine what it's going to be like for all the ones who have no idea about all this work that's been going on in the background? It's going to be really hard for them to believe how much they are loved and how much they've been loved and how much they've been cared for. It's going to be hard for them to believe that because even you don't believe it. If you can't believe it, how are they going to believe it?
Yeah.
Let's stop focusing on what anybody did to us because we allowed it. Let's just be clear about that. We got to stop focusing on what they owe us because we allowed them to do that. Let's take that responsibility because that's what we have to do. We got to, Grana is telling you, get your mind right. You got to take that responsibility. She's counting on everyone to do the things.
It's now in our hands, and the way it's going to happen is through your assembly. The assemblies will be interfacing with the corporatocracy that exists as it dismantles little by little and telling them what we want. So you may not want to be part of the assembly and part of that type of governance, but you have a voice to bring to your assembly. Again, if you have a complaint, figure out what possibilities there are and bring it to your assembly. You know,
You
the
can
more
fix
people
it
that
yourself
speak.
though too, right? Like you
Absolutely.
can fix it. If you can just fix it. You don't have to go to the assembly with it if you don't want to. Just fix it. But you don't get to create problems. That's what you don't get to do.
Yeah. It was a great article, and I'm happy we got to read it together and dream.
It was a good dream. And I hope everybody basks in that dream.
Because where we focus our minds and our energies is what we're creating. So I just implore you that any complaints, imagine the possibilities when it's fixed and how it's fixed. And let's create a beautiful world.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys here next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.